want you back. You're all I ever wanted. You're all I ever needed. Yeah. So tell me what to do now. It's hard to say I'm sorry. It's hard to make the things I didn't do. A lesson I learned to wear for sure. So don't hang up the phone now. I'm trying to figure out just what to do. I'm going crazy without you. You're all I ever wanted. You're all I ever needed. So tell me what to do now. When I want you back. You're all I ever wanted. You're all I ever needed. So tell me what to do now. When I want you back. Baby, I remember the way you used to look at me and say, promises never last forever. Told me not to worry.
Hey y'all, welcome. If y'all are new here, my name is Ashley and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on, all the things TV and movie related. And tonight, okay, so here's the thing. I look at the schedule and I say, what's coming out? What do I want to watch? What should we talk about? And I get excited. I hear things that seem topical, like they'll be, good for the culture, good for humanity, and then I watch it and am devastated. This is that situation. Okay, so I'm just going to preface it by saying that. But we are back to talk Dirty Pop, the boy band scam, a 3-part docuseries that premiered on Netflix just a couple days ago. And I'm not here by myself. I'm not here by my lonesome. Y'all already know I'm going to bring the ladies up one by one, and we're going to get right into this. Let's start with who got here first. Look who was in the building first. Y'all know her. Okay. You love her. And yeah, she's over there struggling. Hey, struggling.
Hello. I just want to say, baby, take off your clothes and come on. Hey, turn off the lights, because girl, it's on. Hey, you got the right one up in here for that.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm really interested to see where you're going to go with this, child, because
Listen, I know, friend. I know. Next to the stage, she's new to me, but I love her down bad already. Welcome, King Nikki TV. Nikki, how are you doing today? Are you ready to get into this?
I'm ready. I'm excited. It's Friday. I ain't got nothing to do. Let's do what they say on Friday.
Friday.
You ain't got ish to do. I'm gonna get you today. I'm gonna get you today. Next to the stage, listen, she is the Horror Connect. Y'all know Kay, because she has all the books all the time. But today she's got NSYNC, repping properly, if I might say. Hey, Kay.
Hey.
How are you doing today? How you feel about everything? How is it going?
I grooved more to your intro than I did the documentary, and I'm upset about it because I thought I was gonna get more music than I did. I thought I was gonna get more behind the scenes in the studio, and I just didn't groove like I thought I was going to.
Child, we're gonna talk about it. I have an attitude. I do. I have almost 3 hours of my life. But anyway, we're moving right along. And our final guest for the evening has arrived, and I'm so excited that she's here. We haven't been on the same platform in a couple months, and I missed her. Amina, welcome. How are you today?
She said, "Can't." I think she said,
we can't hear you.
No, we cannot.
Nope, we can't hear you. Is something else muted? Maybe. Maybe try to go back out and come back in again. Okay. All right, I'll bring you back up. But y'all, listen, we're going to get right into these slides. And actually, first, let's say hello to the people. Breeze, you already showing out, and I appreciate you. Breeze with the $2 super chat. The hair, though, listen. Yes. I said, let's get into this news anchor realness on this Friday night. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you. Hey, Dominique. Please don't go, girl, in my Joey. Oh, listen, Joey was one of them I just couldn't get to. And y'all, be sure to go vote in the poll. I need to know which is your favorite boy band, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, or O-Town. Those are the three options because those are kind of the three that were mentioned. All right, y'all. But let's go because a lot of people already in here. Let's say hello. People was here before the live started. Hey, Vic. Yeah, yep. Go binge. Well, I mean, or don't, right? You can just come. Hey, Vodka. Hey, Miss Andrews. And listen, singing the song. Sing the song. Hey, Za, welcome. Hey, pretty girl. Hey. Swear I almost missed this by like a few minutes. Never late, right on time. Yes. So I don't need. What's popping? Not Justin ruined NSYNC for you, Shady MF. JC was, listen, because JC is him to this day. Do you hear me? It was always JC. Justin who? And I don't like how they had him showing the little Janet poster in his room during this thing. Hey, Miriam. Y'all look so freaking beautiful. Thank you. Hey, Aisha. Vodka says, a shame we can't see JC's face. I do what I got to do to avoid the copyrights. Zabril Rivers TV. King Nikki gonna roast. Backstreet Boys deserves to win. Where? Why? Because hey, Monique. Hey, sis. Welcome. Okay, y'all. Okay, we have Amina back. Let's try this. Hey, Amina.
Testing.
Yes, there you go. This is Amina from Amina's Seen It. Y'all go check out her channel. But how are you today, Amina? How you feeling?
I'm good, but you do realize I usually get my if I'm gonna watch something from you, and because you told me to watch it ahead of time before you did, I suffered through that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, I'm just glad I didn't suffer alone. Not that I ever, want people to suffer. I gave my little disclaimer. I have a spreadsheet, y'all, and it goes before us. And I just, I throw it and I hope it lands. But y'all, let's get right into it. I want to know overall thoughts. All right. So based on Bands, Brands, and Billions, a book, apparently an autobiography of Lou Pearlman, we see Lou given an account AI generated, which was kind of weird, a little bit wonky. But basically, this was really about Lou and his scammery. This ain't have nothing to do with a boy band, really, in my opinion. But Tyra, I'm going to start with you. Just give me your general overall thoughts. Out of 10, give me a rating just for kicks and giggles.
Is 0 an option? 0's an option, right? I don't have nothing to say but Transcontinental Airlines. Like trans, they brought us here for Transcontinental Airlines.
That's what it was.
The false advertisement of attaching even just the name Dirty Pop. When we hear Dirty Pop, we're thinking of NSYNC. We thought we were going to go into depth. You want to put his scamming ways in there, fine. But I thought we were going to get into the groups and behind the scenes, or even just some of the things here. I felt like they weren't really saying, but saying it at the same time. This was all for nothing, and it wasted our time. 3 hours of my life I could never get back.
That part. Kay, I'm coming to you next. Overall thoughts, rating out of 10.
I feel like Netflix catfished me. I feel like I was catfished because they led me to think that it was going to be something that it wasn't. And I was thinking I was going to get some inside scoop to boy bands. And it felt like more like I was watching the Wolf of Wall Street.
Ooh. Well, a word. Amina, I'm coming to you next. Overall thoughts, rating out of 10. What you giving it?
I will give it a 3 because at least it just the quality was okay, but it was the Lou fan club, so we know the few that was at his funeral.
The 5.
The
What
5.
they said 5, and nobody to claim the body. Lord have mercy. And then Nikki, last but not least, overall thoughts.
I am disappointed with Netflix. I can usually look forward to a Netflix documentary, even if it's something I'm not familiar with. Was never a boy band person. I thought I was a little thug growing up. So I was listening to Pastor Troy. I wasn't listening to the Backstreet Boys, but I can usually count on them for a good documentary, whether it was that Tinder Swindler documentary, the documentary about that fertility doctor who had like 1,000 kids.
Man with the
But this was just so bland and dry. I don't know. They needed to just tell us that melted marshmallow was touching them kids and just like tell the real story. I don't know what this was supposed to be.
I don't know either. That was my major contention with the whole thing. It was some Lou Pearlman friend or something like that did this. Like they were trying to repaint him with a different image, the way that his friends were riding for him throughout and trying to show him in a positive light really threw me for a loop. And the fact that they didn't dig deep in any of these topics, we just really got surface level foolishness. Like that wasn't worth anybody's time. I agree. Tell them you love me. Come on. Netflix has come through with the documentaries in the past couple months.
Don't F with cats. Like they show up. I don't know what happened here.
It just didn't do it. And again, y'all remember to vote in the poll. Who is your favorite, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, or O-Town? Because listen, but Ty reminded me of something as she was watching, because she always got a lot to say. And she said, every song we hear these people singing in this first episode were from the predecessors, right? The ones that came before. And we're going to have this Black History moment, okay? And we're going to talk about some of the legends that paved the way, okay? I don't even actually put these in the same category as the boy bands of like the 90s because be for real. Like even they're not even touching H-Town. They're not touching any of these groups. And I love NSYNC, but let's be for real. So Tyra, I'm starting with you. Of the groups on this slide, okay, which was your favorite? If you choose, you can choose one. You can choose one, just one.
I'm hood. It was Jodeci. It was Jodeci. Like everything here was a little clean cut, a little bubblegum. Drew Hill. If I want to get a tell me what you want going, a stomp and jump. Shy, they were cool, but they didn't have enough of a catalog for me what they could sing. H-Town, them the homegrown homies, but like Jodeci, boy, just baby making music. Yeah.
Mr. Dowling was him. Do you hear me out? And he didn't get enough play for me. Nikki, I'm coming to you, Nikki.
I'm glad you put this in here because I feel like the foundation is always us. Like the blueprint is always us. And it's like that's what sticks out in my mind is Justin with them damn braids back in the day. But if I have to pick one, I hate to give the same answer, but I'm with Tyra. It's Jodeci, but everyone else is amazing. I absolutely love every single solitary group on the screen right now.
Okay. Kay, I'm going to you next. What say you?
I mean, now I love me some Jodeci and they thug life, okay? I love me some Boys to Men and all their hits. But yeah, New Edition, that's decades worth of hits. And all of them have solo albums and stuff. And they have their own movie. Like how you can't outdo them if you look at their catalog, if you look at their history, they are still doing touring and concerts and stuff now. Ain't nobody on this list beating off Bobby Brown, first of all. What Whitney said, the king of R&B?
The king of R&B. That's what she said. Amina, what say you out of these groups listed?
I definitely got Forever My Lady. I believe I know it was written for what's that? Diddy's ex, Porter.
Kim Porter.
I feel like it was written for me though. Forever My Lady. Sorry, I had a moment.
Thank you, Ashley, because the doc didn't mention a black group at first. Like, well, we saw those New Kids on the Block kids and got everything from there. Like, excuse me?
Right.
Listen, I know. And y'all, I'm gonna have to go with Boys to Men. Because to this day, it puts me in my Hillman era. It puts me in my different world era. I just get all of the feels. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always gonna do it. And the harmonies. You know what I mean? Who's touching Boys to Men to this day in terms of the harmonies? You hear me? But yeah, we had to give kudos to those that came before. Let's see what the chat is saying. Just a couple, y'all, and then we're gonna get right into it. Yeah, the way his friends basically didn't see anything with Rue lip in those hands. Listen, and they didn't. They said, I don't care. I saw him touching the boys, but I don't think he really did. I'll never say anything bad. Okay. Miriam says, yes, New Edition paved the way. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, y'all. What pissed me off was the fact that all the boy bands that followed tried to be diverse by throwing in a token black dude. Listen, Trevor O-Town. If you watch Making the Band, you already know. But y'all, we're avoiding the inevitable. The Purveyor of Pop, episode 1, it started with New Kids on the Block, right? Aviation, a bag, and a Nazi. I don't even know if you can say that. I might edit that part out later. But we meet kind of Lou, right? He's into blimps, allegedly. He's into planes, allegedly, and he's flying around everybody from the likes of Madonna to Michael Jackson to New Kids on the Block. And so allegedly, when he sees New Kids on the Block and he finds out that they made 200 million in touring, another couple hundred million in merchandising for the tour, he said, I need to put my hand in that bag. Amina, I'm going to start with you. What did you think about them setting the groundwork? Did you believe at this point that Lou really was into aviation and had all this money to start out with? What were your thoughts on how this opened and the scene they set?
I mean, and I didn't really know that much about him. So from listening in the beginning, of course, I thought he had the mansions and everything. So I saw what the outside world or these kids saw. So yeah, I believed it. I'm so gullible.
I did too. And when I heard it, I was like, okay, he's a Jewish man, born in Queens, New York, didn't smoke or drink. He ate. Somebody made that evidently clear. Okay. He had an issue with food. He was a whore, a liar, a con man, a fraudster, the devil, a predator, asexual. Okay. Aviation entrepreneur and a talent manager. Those are some of the things that they said. And call him Big Papa. I'm going to go to you next, Kay. What did you think of them laying the groundwork as far as who Lou was? Did you believe his past? Were you kind of sucked into like, oh, he had a bag?
They said from the beginning Lou was a scammer when he had forged somebody's license. I said that was the first clue right there. If we doing that and got away with it, what else is he gonna scam his way to? Scammed his way all the way to the top. On some instance, you got to give him, a thumbs up for that, because he had us all fooled before we knew that he was putting money in places he wasn't supposed to be. But he was always a scammer, and they knew that he was. And y'all, because of white privilege, people will turn a blind eye to things.
Well, when he said that he was a Jew and partnered with a German NAZI, I said, oh, okay, that's who he is and that's what he's on. Tyra, would you have called him Big Papa?
Hell no. That was so disgusting to me. Like, you ain't Christopher Wallace. Why are we calling you Big Papa? That was so cringy to me, and it upset my stomach for every time we had to pan over to one of the boys and old footage calling him Big Papa. Ain't your damn father. I never believed anything from a drop. I just expected them to go down another route with Lou Pearlman. Lou Pearlman isn't anything we haven't seen before. When it comes to the manager way back from a Milli Vanilli or the manager who was over, he gives me Chris Stokes. He gives me beauty. He gives me, just everything that is just wrong with the industry. So I just felt like the beginning was him seeing those boys and, us seeing things that we normally see, children being taken advantage of, not a parent in sight, the, horrible work conditions. I don't think he owned anything. He saw an opportunity and took it.
I agree. He presented though, because I was like, where are you getting all this money? But we find out, and we'll get into that in the next slide. Nikki, you calling him Big Papa? You calling him Big Papa?
I wish my little curly head son would say, I got this fat white man and I'm finna call him Big Papa. Hell no. And one thing about a scammer, of course they're gonna have their hand in every pot until something pops off. Of course he had his hand in aviation and all this stuff he was claiming to have his hand in, and then like you said, he sees new kids on the block and the only thing he sees is dollar signs. That's what scammers do. You look around the corner and you see what can make me money. What can make me, this will make me money. Let me get these kids together.
Absolutely. Listen, so after he decides that he is going to get into the boy band lane, right? He's like, okay, I got all these blimps though, because we discovered that when he was a kid, he wanted to own blimps, which is the most random thing in the universe, right? And so he decides that he's going to commit insurance fraud and crash all the blimps to get his initial monies to start a boy band. So he goes across the country and he is talent scouting now. Okay. And we start with the Backstreet Boys. All right. And they were the guinea pig for the dream. And these are just kind of my takeaways, right? AJ's still mad to this day because in the interview, I was like, AJ, you got your bag, sir. But there's still, he's still mad. I wanted to know where are the rest of them. Right. Where's Kevin? I want to see Kevin today because Kevin, I don't know if Kevin is still him, but he was him back then. We only saw Howie and AJ in this. I didn't care to see Aaron, but I would have liked to see Brian. I would have liked to see Kevin. And we discover, they form this group. Kevin's working at Disneyland. He calls his cousin Brian, and we know Brian sings down. And they are touring everywhere. They're going to high schools. They're going to fairs. They're going to farms. They're performing everywhere Lou tells them to, but it actually starts to pay off. Tyra, I'm going to start with you on this one. What did you think of hearing the origin story of the Backstreet Boys? What did you think about, I guess, AJ still kind of holding on to some resentment here? Because it was palpable for me.
Girl, AJ been mad since 2002. That man stay mad. He stays mad. With us just seeing Howie and AJ, I was like, okay, how much did they pay y'all to be here? Because it adds a sense of legitimacy when everybody's here. For a split second, I heard JT's voice when they got over into the NSYNC segment, and I was like, oh, if Justin here, I might listen to y'all. He wasn't. It was a video. It was an old recording. But the fact that they weren't here, you get to see what we've always seen. Like, you could just write history and put insert young naive boy band here. You could insert new edition here. You can, we were overworked, underpaid, taken advantage of. Parents didn't know any better. We only got this X amount of money. Child, I was like, y'all, at least y'all got $10,000. Them new edition boys had to split a bunch of nothing. Child, they hadn't got nothing. They got some cents and pennies. But definitely, like you, I was looking like, where is everybody else, and why are these the guys who decided to come forward and speak? But you do get to see, there is always those few members who want to go with the flow, and this is our opportunity, and we're working hard, and they're not paying attention. Then it's the Bryans of the world, like, yeah, this don't look right. We need to get a lawyer to look at this. We're not being paid enough. We're not, but you just see them being taken advantage of. And it's just crazy that still, to this day, a lot of bands or just groups, it's still the same things, still the same contracts, breakdowns, and just people being naive. I just wanted to know where those members were that were missing, and what were the parents? Where were they? They always missing.
Listen, where were they? Because that's kind of what was poignant to me. You had a lot of these young men. Kevin, I believe, had just lost his father. A lot of them are very young, struggling, coming from households that are different. Even when we get to NSYNC, we find about Chris's story. And I'm like, truly kind of predatory behavior. This is the first time they've been on a private jet. This is the first time they're being flown here and there, limo rides, all of that. And so they start making the bag, I think, $200 100 million when they finally take off, and they each get a check for 10K. And Brian said, bring the lawyers. Bring the lawyers. I'm going to go to you next, Amina. What did you think about the Backstreet Boys segment? And what do you think about him kind of is seemingly targeting, people that are vulnerable?
Desperate boys.
That was, I think that's his main target. He did not have a girlfriend. He liked to be around those kids. I mean, and then he's telling them, call me Big Papa. So, come on now. This was like a whole Diddy fun camp going on up in there. And to have a kid live with you is giving Chris Stokes, it's giving Diddy, it's giving all of the industry stuff.
And we're definitely going to get to him, because why were you living with him for 7 to 9 years?
Since you was a boy. Why? And then you went on the run with him. So,
Lord. Okay.
I always say that there's always a sad story behind like our groups that we love. Like I remember when they first came out, and they all thought they was living the glamorous life at this point, and not knowing how they were being taken advantage of, used. He also said that he used to have them perform for like different businesses and companies and stuff like
Investors.
that. He was trying to invest so he could get money and stuff. Like they weren't aware of everything going on behind the scenes. It's just like, oh, we got a little money. We had a little more than we had. These people over here like us, but with age comes knowledge. And it's like, at some point you have to know that these boys are going to grow up to be men. And then what do you do?
What do you do, Nikki?
Yeah, Ashley, you said kind of predatory. I think it's just predatory. Like he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew. It's like people like him have a radar, and it's a reason why he chose these boys in particular to create these groups. The writing is on the wall. The industry is shady. I think it's a tale as old as time. Like TLC had a lot of issues as far as contracts. New Edition, like somebody already said, like it's a tale as old as time, and it's still happening.
Yeah, because there are like
I don't know.
There are like talent agencies where you can go. People, put their children in certain camps to be discovered, but they go and seek out the lowest, like struggling, like kids who won't, ask too many questions.
Yeah. That's why it's predatory. It's predatory.
Absolutely. And Kai Stories, yes. And if y'all want a good documentary to watch, go on over to Max and ID and check out the Nick and Aaron Carter documentary. It's actually very well done. FYI. Next, we have NSYNC. Healthy competition undercover, right? And we found out that it all started with Chris, again, in a very desperate situation, said he was working at his friend's farm at 13. Chris is sick and tired. Chris said, I'm glad he gone, and I hope he burns in the hot place. That's basically what he said, okay? JC said $10,000. Yeah, that's not going to do it. And again, no one else. So we go back, we see kind of the formation of the group. We know that JC and Justin knew each other from the Mickey Mouse Club. So they were already kind of getting that Disney bag, right? Chris kind of came in, but he actually made kind of the connections to get everybody else together. Later entered Lance and Joey. And like I said, Chris is still mad to this day. Lou forms NSYNC under the nose of Backstreet Boys. Backstreet knows nothing about it. I guess because he wanted more irons in the fire. Amina, I'm going to start with you. What did you think about him kind of making NSYNC under Backstreet Boys' nose? Mum's the word. Don't tell nobody. How did you feel about that?
You see, I'm just saying. That's like predatory games. It's like, oh, I got a new group. This is better than yours. It's giving a lot of stuff. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now he knew that was shady. That was really shady. And the fact that he did these with children, when children are already self-conscious about their appearance, they're already trying to find a way to fit in. They're already trying to be popular. And when you have a group that is already becoming popular and you go behind their back to make it seem like now, I'm over here with the new shiny thing. So now they have a problem with this other group who's done nothing to them. And they're all under like your roof. They're all under your umbrella. Like, why would you try to sink your own tank by going behind somebody's back and doing it to both of these groups? And in my mind, I'm thinking, what did he think the outcome was going to be of this? Like, did he like not see an end game, that this was not going to go over well? Did he think that they was all going to like hold hands one day and it be all cool? I'm like, did you not see this was all going to go to hell?
Absolutely, because we're going to start talking at some point. We're going to find out about each other and start talking and comparing notes. Tyra, what'd you think about NSYNC being created under Backstreet's nose? And JC speaking up.
First of all, JC is always going to be just number one, like favorite down. I love how all the little shade was thrown towards JT in the documentary. Like they have that disdain for JT because he was one of the few that was like, well, when everything else was falling apart, JT kind of stuck close to Lou Pearlman in his solo career flourish, where, you know, it was always supposed to be JC. Everybody knows it's supposed to be JC, and it just wasn't. But even though Lou is saying, I was trying to, you know, beat somebody else to it once they figured out how industrial it could be to run boy bands and Backstreet Boys and create competition, I will create for myself. I feel like he was weaponizing them to go like, you're replaceable. You're replaceable. Do what I said, whatever that may have been, but you can be replaced. It's, you know, plenty of guys out there who can sing, who look good, who can dance, who are just as hungry. So fall in line, or you could get replaced by a JT or a JC or a Lance or whomever. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a tool.
Absolutely, for manipulation. That's what a master manipulator would do, right? I got him in my back pocket, boo, and they about to sell more than you. Nikki?
Yeah, I agree with Tyra. I feel like people who don't have anything a little bit looks like a lot, but that only works for so long, and kids get older. So I think it was definitely a tool of like, let me pull these other people in to show you this train could stop. Like, I could make another you easily. And he went and made another them to get more, you know, competition, as it says on the slide, so that they could be under his thumb. It's kind of like a regular predator. If you have attachment to a certain child, that child starts getting older and maybe you can't control them. And then you go, you know, you're starting to age out. Let me go get another one that I can control. But it creates a rivalry and kind of gets that other child back in line.
Absolutely. Tale is old as time. But moving into episode 2, business is business. Okay. 43%. That's what he said he was taking. Okay. Leaving the group a measly 57% to split between the remaining. Okay. We start getting into legal situations in this episode. We meet Tammy, his girlfriend, and all of these kind of bootleg groups that came after, you know what I'm saying? Not y'all, no shade, but shade. But there was no other groups compared or reached the level of an NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys at all, in my opinion. NSYNC said, listen, it's time to lawyer up. JC got that lawyer. We're going to do that. Backstreet said, I want out this contract, lawyered up, and did what they need to do. And during this time, Lou gets a lawyer, Mason Chaney, and we're going to meet him. It's actually at the halfway point. This is actually a good time with 57 people in here. Y'all be sure to hit the like button on everyone's pages. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And we are going to have a little introduction to Lou. Okay, let's meet Lou real quick.
Diabolical, scheming, crooked, and dishonest SOB you could ever imagine.
He helped shoot a lot of popular boy bands to start out.
But Lou Pearlman is known for much more than that.
It's a long day, and at the end of the day, they plop down in their bed, which they don't know where they are sometimes, you know.
Schemer and a liar. That's probably the best way of summing up his personality.
Lou Pearlman took advantage of young men and stole tremendous amounts of money.
His musical sons used to call him Big Papa. Now they call him a thief and a con man.
You know, they forget what city they're in or what country they're in. And if you watch an artist, I mean, they just go through a lot of stress.
You ever even if he gets the money back, he should be put in jail and kept in jail until he dies.
It hit different when white people mad. That white lady. Oh my God.
She said, "Listen," and he needs. I said, "Well, was that a word? Was that a prophecy? Because he gone now. He's definitely he's definitely gone." And so he gets the lawyer, and basically the group, according to the lawyer, he has to pay, or they have to pay Lou $64 million. I'm going to start with you, Amina. What did you think about this whole settlement situation in the beginning with these bands?
So if you got 64, you said 64 million, because I didn't hear a number like that. And if I did, then why are you scheming the world? That's crazy. But of course they always win, but that's how it is when they sued. Even TLC, when they sued for their name and stuff like that, they're like, they got out of the contract, but we got their firstborn. They take everything. So that's just the industry. It's expected.
Yes. So the lawyer basically disclosed it. AJ couldn't. He just said it was a sizable amount. But when we get to Lou's lawyer, he telling everything. Because listen, Lou didn't pay that man. And so he says, but it still wasn't enough, because we have to remember that the boy band, again, that's why I say it really shouldn't have even been entitled the boy band scam, because this was not the scam. This is not even money he made. This is where he lost all of his money. He had made his money with the Pearlman savings account that we learn about in this episode. And what is it? So it was the Ponzi and bank fraud, right? He was writing letters. He was borrowing from one bank, getting that money, then taking a loan from another bank to pay that other bank off until he got into the millions. Tyra, what do you think about this settlement?
I mean, that's a lot. I'm just like, I just couldn't, like, and I can't even say like I didn't feel anything for the boy bands, but we've seen so much worse. We've seen so much worse, things that are just career ending, to where you were trying to get out of that contract and you had, to pay the lawyers to pay. And by the time everything was said and done, you didn't have a career anymore. It was too late. So the fact that, like, I'm just sorry, our groups don't get these stories. Our groups rarely get these stories. Like, sometimes it's, so bad that you can't get from up underneath it. And it's not like they were, it's tragic what happened, because they shouldn't be taken advantage of in the first place, but it is the industry. But after that, they, made some of their best music, had so much more success, apart and away from Lou. And it was just like, a good riddance. And I was glad that, I was actually surprised, because it's dirty pop. So I was like, oh, it just, that was it. It just ended right there. So what's so dirty about this pop? For a long time, the pop industry that we know of is just completely separate from how he's moving outside of it. So I was like, oh, well, that was nice. They went on to flourish and have great careers. Okay.
Like, okay, what's next? Because they really didn't lose. I mean, like I said, it really wasn't about them. And we find out towards the end of this episode that the deal, the kind of the grift, I guess, was with BMG, the company that they signed with. They're the ones that really profited through this. Lou, like I said, Lou was this wasn't about that money for him. Kay?
What I was waiting on to hear, and I'm mad that they didn't. I wanted to know what was going on with the guys behind the scenes, because of all the stuff with their contract and because of the competition that they were put up against with all these other boy bands. Like, I want to know who started to use drugs. I want to know who was gambling. I want to know who became an alcoholic. I want to know who got like all these outside kids and stuff. I want to know who got in some fist fights behind the scenes. Like, I want to know what happened to you all because of. That's what I thought I was going to get, because that's kind of what we've seen, especially like Tyra was saying with, our people. They show us what happens behind the scene with these shady contracts, and what happens to them when they lose money, and what happens when they lose their family and their fan base. That hits some of them really, really hard, and they don't recover from it. And they should have put that in there, because if we're painting Lou to be such a bad guy, what is the collateral damage?
Okay, were we really?
But they weren't painting him like that at all. Like,
I can remember like faintly back in the day seeing like headlines with an AJ or with a Nick. Like they were, it was some trying times back then, but they didn't express that at all.
Right.
Nothing.
And I think one of them sat there and was like, well, I'm rich now. I'm like, it was like a disconnect.
Chris said, I'm eating good now, eating better now. Nikki.
Yeah, I agree. I think that just because they made out well career wise or money wise, so I can get my words right. I think what the documentary obviously doesn't cover, and because we know the marshmallow was melting on people, was the fact that they probably didn't make out too well personally. Like how Kay is saying, who was. I don't know if y'all saw recently, JT eyes, he was coked out so bad he couldn't blink his eyes. Like, there's no telling what they went through personally. Like, it's certain deals with the devil. You never can stop that dance. You never. So you may get out of the contract technically, but you're always going to be in bed with the devil.
Yeah. Because Kevin, I think Kevin was the one that had the strongest relationship in the Backstreet Boys from what they say with him. Kevin isn't here. And even some of the photos they were showing where he's sitting with Howie or sitting, it looks wrong. It doesn't look like they're happy to be there. And I'm like, we're not going to expound on that at all. And I hate to, place labels on somebody and just call them a predator, but that's what it was giving. We've seen it too often.
Listen,
you want to know something funny? I sat there and I was like, listen, until y'all listen to Raspy, I don't want to hear none of y'all right now. Like, because that just was killing me. Raspy's been screaming, Razzie from B2K, Chris Strokes boy. Yo, that's just, I'm like, until y'all sit here and like let him open his mouth. I was like, that's why I figured that none of them were speaking, because the media just made Raspy look like he's crazy. And it's like, no, because you know what I mean? He only speaks on social media. They will not entertain him in the industry or any public place.
No. And what's sad in this, and what spoke to me throughout it all, it's like that nobody wanted to tell the truth. And someone on Instagram was like, men sometimes have a hard time sharing when they were violated, especially after they've reached such a level of success post that, violation. They don't want to open the doors. But I mean, look at this picture. You're not gonna make me believe that these people were telling all of the truth about him, talking about he was asexual, he was touchy-feely, but I'll never say anything bad about him. He rubbing on these boys' abs, putting them on their shoulders, they playing in the pool. Like, what do you have going on? Why do you have all these toys at your house? You ain't never had a woman. You met this one, Tammy, right? Who thought she was just hot stuff, right? She thought she's Sharon Stone. Okay. And said he never could get a chance with me. And I'm like, girl, y'all look about like it might work. Okay. But she said, I was his nurse. He tried to kiss me in the mouth. He sent me a Louis Vuitton. He just sent me a Louis Vuitton. Girl, be grateful for the Louis Vuitton. But she said she didn't believe it either. And my thing is, and I'm going to start with you, Tyra, because you give me the most animation right now. Why do you think these people are taking this angle? And why do you think these men aren't telling their stories?
Well, it's from what you said before about not wanting to open those doors or have anybody question their sexuality or place judgment on them, a masculinity thing, and have that. But when somebody comes to you about this doc, just like I'm sure most of the people who aren't here that we were looking for, just say no. Just say, you got to tell them no. Didi you got to tell them no. Just say no. Now, Tammy here, it was too many people who were just proud to say they knew Lou Pearlman when and their attachment to him. Like, it was, first of all, I couldn't listen to anybody here because to get where a Lou Pearlman is, a Diddy is, a Chris Stokes is, it's never someone moving solo dolo. You can't make all of these, knobs work alone. So there's always a group of people in on it, making sure things run accordingly. None of you knew anything. Nobody knew anything. This woman here who's just proud to say, like, yeah, he wanted me. Girl, what?
With her Timberlands on. I was like, why do you have those on in this interview?
Ma'am, Like, I just like what are you doing here? It just seems like a lot of people just wanted a moment. Like, I'm just a spotlight. I'm sure they were paid to be here, and that's just what it was. Even if they really didn't have anything to contribute to the conversation, literally nothing was being said here. Nothing's ever going to be said if we're, busy acting like we never saw anything and we never knew anything. And I was just, he was always good to me. I don't know about everybody else. All right, why are you here?
Which is sick. It's culpability, and more than that, you are complicit in my mind, right? Especially this raggedy heifer who looks like the crypt keeper now, talking about she saw the touchy-feely but didn't have anything to say about it. Nikki, I'm gonna come to you. He was touchy-feely, but I'll never say anything bad about him. What do you think about that take?
Yeah, I think the one thing that people don't want to talk about is the fact that homophobia runs so rampant that men can't even speak up as victims. Like, they're going to feel like their sexuality is in question. And I feel like that's why the Raz B's and the Corey Feldmans and stuff, that's part of the reason why they get shunned and laughed at and not taken seriously, is because of that stigma. And it's really ridiculous. And I feel like the people here Jesus Christ, these people, it's like you said, you're complacent. It's kind of like when everything came out with the video with Diddy, and all of a sudden people came out saying, yeah, I saw him do XYZ. What you mean you saw him doing stuff back in 1993, but you ain't say nothing? Like, you're complacent. Just if I'm sitting down and I'm watching the person next to me be a predator and mess with kids, I'm culpable. I'm culpable because I'm watching you do it. I'm facilitating you being able to do it. Just by keeping your secret, I'm facilitating you being able to do it. And the man is laying down in the dirt, and y'all still can't tell the truth. And it's not because of your loyalty to him. It's because of how it would make you look to say, yeah, he was messing with them. It would make them look bad to say the truth.
Absolutely. Self-preservation at this point. Kay, what say you?
It's giving Rob Schneider all over again. And then who was the other guy that was with Drake Bell? And remember when they took him to court and he had all these celebrities writing letters for him?
Brian.
Which means
James Marsden pissed me off because why are you writing anything for him?
Because we know he's a creep, but we gonna try to take up for him. You see that this happened against a child, and we gonna try to say, but I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him. How much money does it take to sell your soul? What's the number? Because a lot of them seems like they getting a little something to really sell their souls, because you're not protecting you're out here letting children be victimized for a bag. How you go to sleep at night?
When they talked about all the money in the end and nobody knew where it was, I was like, they got it. Everybody split it amongst each other. It's hush money.
They don't want the IRS to know where the money went.
Had to. Amina?
Listen, I believe there were cover-ups, there were participation. This is allegedly, this is my feelings. I feel like if you had wanted to be around him, you had to either like get with the program, participate. So like I think they all probably got stuff on them, or they were victims and they don't want to say. But you're not going to get that close if you are not with the team, or they don't have dirt on you.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely how that game works. Let's see. I want to know about this though. I want to know about this young man who stayed in his house, right? And I think these guys are the group Natural, who I had never heard the hell. I don't know who Natural is. But apparently one of these young men lived with him for 7 years. And then the dark-haired young man, not pictured here, I didn't get a picture of him because it wasn't worth my time. But he went on the run with them in episode 3. And claimed the body at the end of the day. Why get on here and just absolutely lie? I want to know, do you think that he had a relationship with multiple boys? Was he in a relationship with this young man for these 7 years that he lived in the house? I'm gonna start with you, Kay. It don't have to be long. You can just say yes or no. Was they together?
He had something, and money was involved, because ain't nobody staying there for the fun of it. There was a price and some money was paid.
Okay. Nikki?
I don't think personally it's as simple as money. I feel like if it is giving grooming to me, it is giving me like if you prey on someone when they're young and they're impressionable, and every victim reacts differently to being victimized. Some victims turn into predators. It's very much giving he preyed on them and they had goddamn Stockholm syndrome or something and got attached to their abuser. That's what it seems like to me. I personally think, at least in the case of these two living with him for that time, going on the run, I think it runs deeper than money.
Okay, so eventually feelings got involved, and that's how grooming works, right? They make them
Exactly.
babies believe
The,
that
the
they're in
money is
love.
the money is the lure. The fame is the lure to get them in.
Them private jets, jet skis, when ain't nobody heard of natural. Why are y'all flying on private jets?
I'm pretty sure
You're
he said I can make y'all the next NSYNC, and that's probably how it started.
a mess. Tyra, was they boyfriends? Was it?
Yeah. I know if I hire when I see one, like they can spread that on somebody else. Cracker. Both of these young men were given, I'm gonna stick beside him. Both of them were given, I'm gonna stick beside him. This one over here taking phone calls from the jail. Everybody, who taking my man? Because I'm gonna accept them calls. Will you accept the charges? Absolutely, Lou. Like, excuse me? We accepted charges. Him being found in the house, like he was just embedded to stay in that house, as if all of them seemingly have all this money. From where, for what? Why is Lou Pearlman providing you with income and to invest and do all these things? But it's not enough for me to just move out. Like, I'm just staying here because he was just that kind of guy and he was just kind. Boy, please.
Ain't nobody that kind.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm hoping that, which it never is, by choice for them to end up in that kind of predicament, because some just feel like, you know what, hey, if I'm Natural ain't gonna make it. I ain't hear one song from Natural. I may go look them boys up when I get off of here, but I'm not ready to let go of this lifestyle or walk away from Lou. And I know Lou like boys, so let me get close to him. I don't know what this was, but it was not no business. What to say? We're doing business together.
We're doing business together, traveling the world on your credit card
with your man. Get out of here.
That's crazy as heck. Jay, hey sis, can anyone just claim the body? So here's the thing. They couldn't get anybody to claim the body, not even his cousin Art Garfunkel. So we find out early that, Simon and Garfunkel, the Garfunkel was kin to Lou and them, and he wouldn't even come get the body. They was tired by that time. They said, listen, Kaisors, that's absolutely true. Money and abuse runs the industry because of power. It's that simple. All right. Now, this was one of his friends, right? And I dare to say one of the people keeping his secrets, because we find out in Frankie that Lou was even scamming Frankie mama. This is about the part of the documentary where the Ponzi scheme gets revealed. And so we find out, of course, the insurance fraud from the blimps. He crashed all the blimps to fund the boy band, right? Meanwhile, he's still getting all these loans from banks. And at this point, he's probably run it up to $200 million. And now he is taking people's money. He is promising his friends, their families, other investors that if they invest in this savings account, it's completely secure. It's 100% guaranteed, backed by FDIC. He forged that documentation. And having these people invest, some people invested $300,000, some people invested $500,000. This was for their retirement. Okay. And so we find out at this point that Lou had did this to Frankie mama. Frankie had been with him since high school, since day one, from the blimps to the transcontinental, holding the fake plane in the airport. I said, now what kind of witchcraft and wizardry were they trying to do, making people believe he really had a whole airline? And so Frankie, unfortunately, rest in peace, unalives himself, right? At first, Lou is saying, oh, he just couldn't handle it. The business was just too much from him. Later, we hear from Tammy that somebody took Frankie out. Yeah, they after him. They might be after me. Lou, just a lot. Don't care who tell it. Amina, and it's hard to say. This is purely speculation and conjecture because we don't know Frankie. But do you think the weight of the lies and maybe some other things got under Frankie's skin? I mean, Lou scammed his mama.
I absolutely do not, only because Lou started panicking at the end. So, I mean, putting two and two together when he was like, oh, he wasn't, he didn't do it himself. Somebody did it. It's like whoever did it to him was coming after Lou, and Lou was getting fearful. That's what it sounded like to me. And then they said he was around a lot of bad people. And he had ties with the, you know who's. I don't know if we can say and
I
can't
don't
say.
know, but I know what
But
you mean. The people.
yeah, they
The
definitely said he
Sopranos.
had times like Frankie Lyman, not Frankie Lyman, Frankie Valley ties.
The Sopranos. We know what it is.
So
okay, Kay. What you think happened with Frankie?
The same thing that happened with people that know way too much, that's too close to the situation. I said, Wolf of Wall Street, when who was it, Jonah Hill's character that was too close to Leo, and it's like because look, you go down, I'm involved in this too. Like you doing stuff, I'm doing stuff, you doing stuff that I don't want to know, and not wanting to be involved, not wanting to go down on a sinking ship. But through all his scandal and his scamming, I got a little bread too. So it's like, I know that you know this is illegal, but you breaking me off at the same time. What do I do here?
What do you do, Tyra?
Sure, I just didn't want to hear none of it. If nobody was going to even maybe consider the fact that Lou had this man set up to get killed, why are we even mentioning it? Like, I don't know about anybody else.
Go deep. Yeah,
but if you set up my family, the likes of my mother, take advantage, I'm going to the authorities. I'm going to try to report something. I'm going to try to, and they always keep insinuating that Frankie was such a stand-up guy. Like he would never get into any biz. So if I find out you aren't on the up and up, you're scamming and scheming folks, let alone strangers, but my mother, I'm about to try to take you out, and I'm going to try to take you out, and I'm going to try to get to you before you let out any of my misgivings and have you hit. Like, I just felt like, and nobody's going to say that. And then Tammy was kind of walking around the curb, like, girl, shut up if I stump you in that Timberland boot. Shut up.
Nikki.
Man, your mama getting scammed. Let me tell you, your downfall will always be your kids, child. But white people love a Ponzi scheme, and I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but I think he got taken out. I think somebody got him. Somebody got him.
We find out later that some of his enterprises were being funded with ties, as Amina alluded to. So, I mean, it's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched at all. And this was my favorite part in the whole docuseries, because he didn't give up. He said, listen, I'm glad. All right. And I say, you always pay your lawyer, Lou. This man got you $64 million. He was supposed to get $14 million out of that because he was working on contingency. Do you think Lou paid this man? Lou ain't pay him. And so finally, at the end of episode 2, which is why Lou gets exposed, honestly, because I think Lou might have went on in perpetuity or at least a couple more years, but he didn't pay his lawyer. And so the lawyer said, I'm going to sue you, Lou. And you know, when he sues you, especially for a financial issue, all of Lou's books had to then be opened. And that's where they got him on bank fraud, falsifying bank statements, falsifying loan documents. We find out that he'd been forging, been doing the absolute most. This lawyer, Mason Chaney, said, listen, I'm a get this bread. And what was also interesting is he defended Casey Anthony. And that's why Lou went to her. And I was like, I don't know. I guess he knew who to go to. I'm going to start with you, Tyra. Isn't that the first rule of being a criminal? Always pay your defense lawyer.
He was like, well, sorry, you should have paid me my damn money. Like he wanted the money every time they put him in the frame. If you would have paid me my money, we wouldn't have to be here. I would have kept you secret like a good lawyer, okay? But you didn't pay me. Like you said, it was supposed to be $14 million, and he said he gave him $500,000 and pretty much disappeared. Like, yeah, I'm not paying you anything. This just goes to show how greedy Lou must have been and how stupid he must have been. Like, if you don't pay nobody, I don't give a damn who you skipping over, who you scamming, you pay your lawyer. You pay your lawyer. The fact that he didn't pay this lawyer just lets me know that he was waiting for his he was eager for that demise and that downfall, because what else is going to happen? Like, you thought this man was just going to go away like everybody else? No, pay me my damn money, as he said.
Especially $14 million, Nikki.
Yeah, I think when you are used to getting away with stuff and people covering for you, and you can kind of just skate, with no accountability, I think you get sloppy. And he got sloppy. And that lawyer said he about to be on his 50 cent, pay me my money by Monday, or I'm letting all the secrets out. And that's exactly what happened. He better be lucky that lawyer don't know nothing else.
Listen, because he said, I want it all. And I hope you get it. Okay.
You know, it's all good when the check clears. As long as the check clears, we good. But soon as that money stop, you leave room for people to blackmail you. Don't let people know you doing all of this dirt and stuff and then not pay them. Because they gonna get their money by any means necessary. So yeah, you can do all your little scams, have all these little boys in your house as long as the check clears. But I didn't get paid that one time. So if I ain't getting paid, then you going down. And I don't understand how he didn't put that together.
Amina.
Lawyers' fees are expensive. I think he didn't have it. I think he's been like, using his credit, like they say in Titanic. Oh, we're using our name because that's what happens a lot of times. And you think a person has it and they don't. And I don't think he had it liquid cash.
As we move on down the road, episode 3, the final episode, On the Run, Imprisoned, and Later Passed Away. This episode was entitled Blood Money. Again, everything was a lie. He never even owned a plane, honey. He did own a plane, excuse me. It was a toy plane that was this big that they changed the perspective in the picture to make it look like he had transcontinental. He gets to jail, honey, and he's snitching in the Pinta, getting beat up every other day, according to his boy. To his friend. Okay. And at the end of the day, no one to claim the body. And this is really what pissed me off, because why are you smiling like this? In this episode, we discover that this was the biggest Ponzi scheme in American history. I believe it $300 million stolen, right? From family, from friends, from investors. Hence my little clip. Y'all saw it when she said, I hope he unalived in there. But still, we have people like this throughout the entire documentary talking about that was my friend. And he was still a good man. Amina, just give me your thoughts on the friend and anything else that I just talked about. The snitching in jail. You can talk about any of those things, because
I was going to say that he actually he got gypped with the music thing situation also. He wasn't getting paid. And as far as the airplane, his friends knew as well, because that's why he kept 5 of his closest friends and they was always close. Darn well they knew he didn't have no darn airplane. They had to know. So that's what I'm saying. They were in on this scheme because they had to know. That's why he kept them so close.
Absolutely, Kay. You're muted.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely believe he was probably getting beat up in jail because he looked like he can't fight. Okay, I believe that part. And then you ain't got no money to pay for protection either. Oh yeah, I definitely believe that part. And then I also believe that he probably deserved it as well. You broke, you snitching, and you a scammer. How? No, this was like you deserved it. Literally just ruining people's finances, ruining people's lives, not caring about anybody. He actually needed mental help because him and his girlfriend needed some mental help. They both some sociopaths, both of them. Because she didn't even sound like she was in her right mind. I'm like, why y'all be having people on these documentaries that ain't wrapped too tight? She don't sound well, and if she don't sound well, how in the world? That's the only way you can hook up with somebody else that's that crazy, because you can't be well either. She should have been in there too.
Lord have mercy, Nikki.
Yeah. What's the question?
Just in general, everything was a lie, and then the friends, right? Like what?
Well, I think I've learned that I'm apparently not a friend, child. Don't ask me to be a friend. I am not a good friend, because I'm not finna do none of this at all. And this dumbass smile on his face. Lou got some good friends, child. And I don't really believe in hell, but in situations like this, I think Lou might be down there in the pits of hell right now, because he is just terrible. And he waiting for his friends to get there.
In the hot place, Tyra.
All this white privilege, all of this white privilege going on in this doc with Lou. All of these poor people throwing money his way. Like, just looking at some of the paperwork they were showing and him etch-a-sketching logos and bank
"What's
statements
the bank
together.
logo?"
And like, does this look real? Does this look, let me just fax it because they're going to just send it through and give me the money because of who I am, or you just my name, or just, protection for the complexion. Like nobody questioned anything. Most of the stuff there look very Microsoft Excel. I just threw this together. I was like, what? Why? That and the guy with the smile, like who just could not give a damn. It was just given. I got my money. I don't care what that man did to y'all. I got my money. I don't care about them little boy bands, whoever he touched. I never saw any of it. I got my money. But in the same token, that was my friend. I was this girl. Yeah, but nobody claimed his body. Nobody claimed his body. Nobody bothered to buy him a headstone. Like that says
In
a
an
whole lot.
unmarked grave, child.
Unmarked grave. Like nobody bothered to. This was. I don't know who put this together. I don't know who this was for. It just seemed like everybody here. This was once again, and as it should be in Lou's memory, people are here for money. Whatever they were being paid to be here to talk about, but they didn't want to say only so much because they would be telling on themselves. But you can't tell me about who was friend and who wasn't. And all of 4 or 5 people showed up to the funeral, and nobody even bothered to commemorate his memory with the headstone. But everybody was there for the parties and the money and the anniversaries and the there to hold the model plane. That was, first of all, it was Claire.
So this is what we're gonna do.
That was funny. That was funny as hell because there isn't a plane on the whole lot. Like, but these people were just throwing money his way, and it's sad that a lot of people lost their savings. But do better. Like, just have higher expectations for people and do a little investigation before you hand over a check.
That part. And he's like, yeah, I took him to see the bands, the investors. On the run with his business partner. They said they went to Paris, they went to London, they ended up in Bali, Indonesia. And that's finally where they got caught.
In Bali, Ashley. What are the laws there? Because they always go to Bali. Ain't that what Russell said?
Well, clearly there's extradition because they got him and brought him back from there.
Because I was gonna say, where's Russell Simmons at?
Why they can't go get Russell? That's what I was thinking when that happened.
Did the laws change? Why could they get him then? I wonder why they could get Lou, because he was showing enough over there. And again, they had agents. At this point, it was deeper than anybody. They done busted into the headquarters with the lady writing fraudulent letters, his bestie, who won't tell on him anymore. And so he gets, I believe, 25 years, they say, which is one of the longest sentences that you can get. He goes into the Pinta, and yeah, he's snitching on people, getting beat up every day, and finally he gets sick, and that's the end of Lou. But I guess his legacy lives on, right? We are at the last slide. And so before we get into this one, I wanted to give you the heads up. Let's show Backstreet a little bit of love. And we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
You are my fire, the one desire. Believe when I say I want it that way, but we are 2 worlds apart. Can't reach to your heart when you say that I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a party. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. Am I your fire, your one desire? Yes, I know it's too late, but I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a party. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you are.
I didn't mean to start it over yet.
And them bops, Ashley got the bops backstage. You better go off, Ashley. You better remix.
Period. But y'all, this is the final slide. Thank goodness, y'all. And I will listen before we cover the next documentary, y'all. We're gonna watch it first. Make sure. Okay. But I want to know, after watching this for 3 hours, what was the point? I'm with Tyra. Who was your audience? Why create this doc if you're not going to go and dive deep? This is 2024, like the year of the expose. Okay. We want to go deep. We want to go beneath the surface. We don't want to be misled. We want to understand what happened. And I just feel like they played pity pat with it. Again, Predator. Who is this young man that lived with him for years? In the adoration, why was there such a positive tone around this man who robbed people of millions of dollars? Kay, I'm going to start with you. What was the point, friend? What was the point?
Had they have named it something else, then I wouldn't be that disappointed. They could have named it like, Lou Pearlman and his Ponzi schemes and the truth behind Lou Pearlman. Don't come up here and call it dirty pop and think that I'm about to get the tea about the pop artists. Y'all ain't giving me the pop artist tea. Why would y'all lie to me? I'm really upset with Netflix for lying to me. Change the title of this documentary. It ain't even too late to change the title. They can literally change the title and stop fooling people, because at least then I would have known what I was getting into, and I could have said, I really don't care about the Michelin Man like that, and skipped it.
Lord have mercy. We could have all skipped this. And I think they couldn't, because apparently Lance has a documentary that's on YouTube that's kind of very similar to this already. Nikki, what was the point?
The point was they saw Lou could scam and make money, so they decided to scam. They scammed all the viewers' asses with the title. They scammed them with the documentary. They got money just like Lou did, and they laughing all the way to the bank and the unmarked grave just like Lou did.
Lord have mercy. Tyra.
What Nikki said, this was a scam. Like, they should have named this Transcontinental Airlines at this point. No dirty pop should have been attached. They honestly could have left the boy bands out altogether. I know that's what we know him for mostly, but that had nothing to do with it, especially if the members who came here only wanted to go so far with their thoughts, because AJ, Howie, everybody, the old time, everybody said a bunch of nothing, a whole bunch of nothing. So, I don't know who this was for. This was definitely a cash grab for me, and I'm disappointed that Netflix. This could have came out somewhere else, like some little low profile channel. Like this is not up to the standard of what I would expect for Netflix to greenlight.
Same, I agree. And finally, Amina, what was the point?
First of all, Netflix do be having some doozies sometimes, but it definitely was a money scam. And this did not hold him in a bad light, because it sounded like it was pretty bad, but it sounded like they just was like, they didn't even scratch the surface. It sounded like they was trying to throw paint on the surface. So no, I wasn't buying it.
Exactly. That's how I.
He's dead. Like, normally when somebody's dead, that's when people spill all the tea. Like, what are you gonna do? He's no longer here. They still, holding him to a standard and keeping their mouth closed, and this man is dead.
That part.
Really I was just gonna say the plane 9/11. The fact that he said the president flew them out. Did y'all catch that?
Yes, he said Bush did it. He sure did.
He called George Bush. And I was like,
I think he was lying. Did he really do it?
They said they got out of there. He flew him out. I don't know whose jet it was.
That, but he was a liar.
Sociopath.
See, y'all
lied about everything. He lied about so much. It was hard to say, okay, what was true and what was the daggum lie.
He sent them boys out on one of his little private planes and said it's okay to get on. George Bush cleared it. That's what happened.
Yeah, because we find out he didn't have not a single plane. He ain't no New Kids on the Block. He ain't no Michael Jackson. He didn't know any of them. All he had was them blimps, that fraud, and that Ponzi scheme. That's what he had, y'all. But y'all, that was the daggum documentary. Like I said, I do not recommend. It was a 0 out of 10. Never waste your time. It's not worth it. But it was on the books. It was scheduled, so we had to talk about it. But let's meet the ladies, y'all. Stick around for a little while. Let's find out what everybody has going on their channel. And thank y'all for 63 of y'all came through and hung out with us tonight for this raggedy documentary. We appreciate you and love you real bad. Okay. But let's start with, let me see who we can. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm figuring it out. Let's start with Kay. Let people know what you got going on.
Always on mute. But hey, y'all, hey. Come on over, nerds. If you're a person who likes horror movies, if you like superhero stuff, fantasy, sci-fi, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Fifth Wall Studios. I just released an interview for Deadpool and Wolverine. I actually really enjoyed that movie. I do watch a lot of watch a lot of stuff in general, mainly horror, superhero. Let's see, reviews for A Quiet Place. Mondays are House of Dragon. Tuesdays, we're going back season 1, Interview with the Vampire. Tomorrow is our HorrorCon panel, KillerCon horror panel. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. Okay, horror content, throwback movies, underrated films. The Boys reviews are up there. So yeah, come on over.
Come on over. Nikki, let the people know what you got going on.
Yes. If you are against predators melting on kids like marshmallows, come subscribe to my channel. Be on the right side of history. If you don't subscribe, I'm gonna assume you with loot, okay? You don't want to be on the wrong side of history. But I am currently covering a lot of things on my channel: action, TV shows, movies. I am currently following the Apple series Lady in the Lake, which I will be covering on my channel, and I will also be doing a live with all of the ladies you see here, Tyra, Kay, and My Sweet Perspective. We will go live to also discuss the show. And I also have a watch along for members only tonight. We had so much fun with our watch along yesterday of the new Bad Boys. That done turned into the Fast and the Furious at this point, child. But we will be watching Deep Blue Sea tonight. So if you are a member or want to join along in the watch along, then become a member. And like Kay said, we will be doing our KillerCon weekly horror series tomorrow. We will be talking about horror movie icks and all the things that horror movies need to stop doing. But thank you so much for being here in this live, talking about these white people and their foolishness, okay?
Tyra, what you got going on? What you got going on?
Well, stuff with you guys, stuff solo dolo. Like Nikki said, tomorrow, please pull up and support KillerCon, us beautiful Black women, and it's some whites there too, talking about horror. Like, why wouldn't you want to see that? Support it. It's going to be really, really good. This is our 5th episode. We would love to see you there. Sunday, we will be live recapping episode 3 of Lady in the Lake. Be sure to support that. Tuesdays, roll up for Interview with the Vampire season 1. Don't miss that. If you are not watching Interview with the Vampire, you are asleep. Don't y'all always late, so don't be late. Show up. And yeah, I think that's about it. There will be some other things in the works. YouTube is currently working on my channel. So if you see me post some of my long form struggle reviews content, my normal stuff, that means some stuff is working. So be on the lookout for that and support me with whatever I drop. And I mean, whatever it is, support everybody here. Don't be late, because y'all know how I feel about y'all being late.
Absolutely. And we have Amina. Let the people know what you've got going on. Please subscribe to everyone, y'all.
Well, right now I am studying, but I usually do lives on Wednesdays and just talk. But I'm on break until Bel Air comes on, and I'm gonna do Bel Air reviews. I do Power, Universe, and other little movies here and there with stuff that Ashley says is good. Look. And then I am doing House of Dragons, so that's the only thing that right now I'm doing just for 2 weeks, and then I'm like back on YouTube. Nice to meet you, Struggle Reviews. Oh, she left.
Yeah,
she's right here.
Oh,
she's
hi,
right here.
nice to meet you. No, because I do Ashley Says So, and I think I heard of you a couple years ago, and she shouted you out, and I remember the name.
Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
So that's I like her channel too. That's my girl. Well, that's my girl in my head. I don't know her.
But y'all already know, just please make sure you are subscribed to all of these wonderful ladies' channels. Make sure that you have the notification bells hit so that you don't miss a thing. And honey, stay on that community tab because that's where we post everything that we're doing. And we appreciate you so much again for coming through, for hanging out with us. We love you real bad. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. Have an amazing weekend, and we will see y'all in the next video.
want you back.